Hello flower lovers, I'm Carolyn Ellis. Welcome to Design in Bloom, seasonal flowers for your table and home. I often hear people say, I love flowers. I wish I could arrange them. Design in Bloom is my response. In each episode, I will take you step by step through a flower arrangement, low stress, high success. Thanks for joining me. Let's design some flowers for your table and home. Hello flower lovers, I'm Carolyn Ellis, and this is Design in Bloom, arranging seasonal flowers for your table and home. I'm so glad you're with us today. I'm going to make an arrangement to beat the January doldrums. I'll take you step by step through this lovely arrangement featuring soft pink roses, some kiwi vine, and beautiful, beautiful foliage. The goal here is low stress and high success. For this arrangement, the flowers are going to stay very close to the container. The kiwi vine is going to arch up. The container I've chosen is this beautiful 5-inch cube. It's mercury glass with a crackled finish. It has a lovely shimmer. It's not quite silver, it's not quite gold. It has a beautiful pink blush. To hold the flowers in place, I'm using Oasis floral foam. For the November and December holiday arrangements, I used a tape grid. Across the top of the container, I stretched floral tape in a grid and then took stems of foliage and placed them all around so that it made a beautiful web or stem network. Then the flowers could be placed into that network and they would stay right where they belonged. In this case, with this low tapestry that I'm going to create and the tall arching vine, we need floral foam to make for nice secure mechanics. The foam I've cut this already to fit the container. I've soaked it in water. And I'll show you in a minute how the best way to cut the floral foam. It's also about a 1/2 inch above the rim of the container because some of my plant material is going to go in very, very close to the edge. And that will be helpful for a sideways or slightly downward placement. Just to show you quickly how to cut Oasis to get it into your container. Here's a full block, and I'm going to cut it on a cutting board with a knife. Just take it, place it, the knife on, and press straight through. You get a clean cut. For my arrangement, I would make sure that this was the shape I needed for the container. I can cut the corners if it's a rounded container. I can trim it as I need to, place it in a pan of water and let it absorb water. The Oasis will feed the flowers with the moisture they need to stay alive, and it will hold them in place just exactly where I put them. I'm going to begin with the kiwi vine. I actually have it in 2 pieces. So I've cut it in advance, and as you can see, one way I measured is to figure about the height I wanted it, and then how much stem would need to go in the Oasis to be secure, and then I cut the final edge. So I'm going to place this here in the back rear quadrant. I've taken note of the angle of the bottom of that stem, and I'm pressing in not straight in, but at a bit of an angle. Here's the second piece, which has this amazing curly top knot. I'm going to take that and tuck it right here as a companion. Together, these will create a unit, and I'll show you how they're working together. Often in floral design, we work with odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, but I also believe when you put 2 together, you get a space between them, and that becomes a third element. So this, to me, is looking just right. The next piece, I'm going to put a little bit of green in. This is ruscus, which has this beautiful, beautiful long stem and these wonderful rosettes of leaves along the way. They're a deep, rich green. They have a nice, smooth texture. This foliage is very popular in floral design. It's also possible to cut the rosettes into small pieces and use those, which is what I'm going to do now. So for this arrangement, my focal area is the front left corner with secondary interest in the back right. And I'm taking a little bit of this ruscus and tucking it tight, tight to the edge here, because I do want to have some foliage below the flowers that I'm going to put in next. Doesn't have to go in very far, and I'll let you see in a moment what I've done here. There. So this is coming around just to highlight that front corner. I do want some smaller pieces, so I'm going to start at the top of this piece right here. Turn this back toward me, tuck these in here, there. And as I said, because the oasis is above the rim of the container, I'm able to tuck in just a little bit sideways and get a nice coverage of the edge. You may see me sometimes cut a stem, put it in, take it out, and then cut it again. You can always cut twice, but you can't put back what you've already taken off. So don't be afraid to measure as best you can with your eye, put something in, and then make it a little shorter if you need to. Again, I'm really liking the tips of this foliage. I'm going to put this right in here and tuck this right in the back. There we go. Okay, great. The next element is going to be these beautiful, beautiful roses. Soft pale pink. There's a wonderful variation in the bunch, as you can see, and they're just lovely with this platinum pinkish blush container. So I'm starting with these. I'm going to put a cluster of these in the front of this arrangement. In this front left corner, where I have my focal area, cutting them nice and short. I'm actually going to take their leaves off, cut them very nice and short. Open them up just a little bit, and here we go. Tuck this right in here. There. Let me take this off. There we go. Okay. A few more here. We're at summertime here in New England. We would have roses in the garden, but not in the winter. We're not that lucky. So there we go. So you can see how the first three look. I'm going to add a couple more. And I do, as I said, I do love the variation in color in these roses. Very, very pretty. There. Here we go. So I'm really color blocking, putting these together. Similar flower, similar color. Here we go, tucking this right in here. Very nice, okay. Then I'm going to do a similar thing here in the back quadrant, tuck a couple more in. So let me turn this back to myself so I can see what I'm doing. Put this here and here. Great. Open very nicely. Here we go. Okay. Then I do want to take a piece of variegated ivy and give myself the option of letting it curl up the vine here. I don't know if I'm going to actually end up leaving it in, but once I get the rest of the flowers in here, it's going to be too tight to tuck it in. So I'm going to tuck it in now, cut the bottom. This ivy is from a house plant, and I have to say variegated ivy is almost my favorite plant in the whole world. I absolutely love it. So now you can get a sense of what that's going to look like. Just very, very simple and very beautiful. The soft green with the cream is just a lovely offset to these soft roses. So that's tucked there. The next flower I'm going to work with is a secondary flower. It's Star of Bethlehem. So it's grown from a bulb. As you can see, they have this lovely form, these lovely six-pointed stars open toward the bottom, and the green tips are just fantastic. They're almost a bridge, like hellebore, between foliage and flower. They will continue to open going up the top of the flower. I do love the linear form as well. It's a nice offset to the chunky shape of these roses. I'm going to tuck a little bit of this in right here. As I say, I'm going to check the length and cut again. You can always cut twice. It's hard to put back what you've taken off. In a pinch, you could probably use some tape and some sticks and make something work, but let's not worry about doing that right now. So here we have 3 of these tucked right in here beautifully. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. There we go.
Let's get this, leave this a little twist. Once you get something in the oasis, you can always twist it. So here's where we are right now. And then we have two more of these. The roses and the stars of Bethlehem were purchased at Wilson Farm here in Lexington. Wilson Farm is a great place to buy flowers for arrangements because they sell them by the bunch. So they sell mixed bunches, and that's lovely too. But being able to buy a bunch of 5 or 10 stems of the same foliage or the same flower is really helpful for arrangements. Now I have two more of these, and I'm going to tuck these in right here. Let this be a bit of an offset this way. And my last one right here. Okay, there. Would you like to see what that looks like? There we go. So I'm really color blocking. I'm grouping my flowers, which is also different from what we did in the Thanksgiving and December holiday arrangements, where the flowers were all blended together in a nice mixture. So if I swing this back to myself, I'm going to use a tiny bit more, another tip of this beautiful ruscus, just to tuck a little dark green in here, just a little. And then the other secondary flower I'm going to use is a white mini carnation. Pure, pure white, completely different form from this beautiful Star of Bethlehem. That looks pretty, look at that. Nothing like a little rich green to make the flowers come alive. Nothing like it. Tuck this right in here. Okay, there, okay. Now here's the mini carnation. Mini carnations are fabulous because on a single stem, they offer you a full out blossom, some intermediate ones, and some buds. In a flower arrangement, it is really nice if you can include flowers in all stages of development, and with a mini carnation, you get it all on the one blossom. I will say these beautiful pure white mini carnations have a fragrance. So if you're planning to use this at dinner, you might want to choose a different color. There's a lovely bright pale green that would be nice, or maybe you could find a complementary lavender to go with your rose. But I'm going to go ahead and use these because they give a nice brightness to everything else that we're doing here. I'll let you see this in just a minute. Again, blocking these, tucking these in a little bit, using some that are a little less developed than others. And got to use those buds. They're so, so pretty. The buds, too, have a beautiful green edge to them, which I love. And we'll tuck a few over here, just again to bring out the white. Let's be just a little bit taller. So I think you're getting the tapestry effect here, looking like a beautiful carpet, a woven tapestry, needlework that you might have done. Don't ever be afraid to cut twice. So some things I wanted to tell you about using Oasis are that Oasis is great because it holds your stems in place exactly where you put them. When you take them out, Oasis doesn't heal, so there will be a hole. So as you're putting the flowers in, it's really good to be visualizing the angle you want to be placing them at. Sometimes people will make a flower arrangement and be saying, this doesn't look the way I wanted. Part of it is to see it's not just where the flower is going to be located, the blossom, but the angle at which it's emerging from the arrangement. So here, it's just something to really pay attention and to practice. And also to know that if you make a mistake, you can take the stem right out, think carefully before you reinsert it, and then cut the bottom, give it a fresh cut so the flower can drink plenty of water in its new location. I'm going to tuck this in right here. Let this come out like this. There. Now, what else do we need? I'm interested in adding a little more of this beautiful variegated ivy. Did I say this was one of my favorite plants on earth? It is. It's just beautiful. And even some of these leaves even have a little bit of a pink glow to them. Too pretty. Houseplants are also a great source of foliage for flower arrangements. And for us in the winter, when we can't really harvest much from the garden that isn't evergreen, That's a great help. Just, here we go. This is beginning to look like a little beautiful cupcake or just a beautiful confection. So part of being able to beat those doldrums, I think, is getting a little creative boost. And flower arranging is definitely a creative thing to do. And like gift wrap, what you make doesn't last forever, so you get to do it again. Get to do it again and again. Here we go. I'm going to turn this around. Look at how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. This soft, soft shade of green is just magnificent with these pale, beautiful roses. Cut this here, cutting this into small pieces. I think one of the hardest things with flower arranging is to get comfortable cutting up your plant material. It's really hard to not just take it the way it is, beautiful long stems, but you have to come to terms with that. Okay, so we're finishing this, getting close. One more piece of ivy, and then I brought along this beautiful lemon cedar. Very popular at holiday time. There we go. Very popular at holiday time. As a little Christmas tree, kind of a house plant. I'm going to cut a few little pieces off this. I love it because, look at the color, very similar to the soft yellowy green on I Star of Bethlehem. So I think this is going to be just a fantastic little touch. Put a little bit right in here. There's nothing like a little bit of yellow to brighten up an arrangement or a work of art. So tuck this in right here. There. Put a little bit back here. I think I can prune this. I fancy myself quite a good pruner, so I guess I'm seeing here if I'm able to prune this and not have you even know that I snitched some blossoms from it. You see the front here. There we go. That looks fantastic. I'm so excited. This looks great. Look at this plant material. Oh my goodness. And the little bit of yellow in this is just making this come alive. This lemon cedar also has a fragrance. Not if you don't cut it, but once you cut it, you smell that lemony fragrance. So that's nice. And put one more piece, and then I think we're in good shape. There. Okay. Here we go. Okay. When you're using Oasis, it's really important to make sure you cover it. It's not ever supposed to show. So that will be part of our final check. How are we doing here? I think that's looking pretty good. So with an arrangement like this, how do you know you're done? Well, the joke is you run out of time or you run out of flowers. Well, clearly I haven't run out of flowers, but I've run out of room. That said, sometimes it's good to just walk away. Take a deep breath, walk away, make a cup of tea. When you come back, you'll look at it and you'll know, oh, I see I'm a little out of balance here, a little too heavy over here, I need a little pop of color over here. You can make those adjustments. If all else fails and you don't like your arrangement, take it apart. Photograph it first from all angles, and then take the flowers out carefully. You can turn your Oasis right over and you'll have a fresh, clean surface without too many poke holes, and just start again. It's amazing. Like so many things, flower arranging just takes practice. You just physically have to put your flowers in an arrangement to see how it's going to work out. So I'm looking at this, feeling like I'll tuck a little bit more over here just to balance out this back focal corner, and then I think I'm in pretty good shape here. Because this has a wonderful sparkly container, and we have New Year's and other occasions that could come up in January, I am going to offer some opportunities to add a little bling or sparkle to this. So I've brought some things to show you, and then we can decide what we like the best. Okay, so here we go. There. All right, this is a little too far. Just trim this. Great. All right. Do we need one more piece? Probably. No, I'm going to leave that off. All right, so let's clear away a lot of this. And here we are. Here we are. Now, to dress this up, I have some options. One is this beautiful sparkly rosette. That could be tucked right in here and just let it ride in this kiwi vine to add a little sparkle, maybe for New Year's Eve or for someone's anniversary. Here are some soft, not quite gold, not quite silver bits of artificial foliage that could also be tucked in, cut small and tucked in. There'd be a place for that if it's a very special event. Gold looks very pretty with this platinum container. Some pieces, this is gold painted silver dollar eucalyptus, a little bit of this tucked in as well. Could really bring this alive with a lot of sparkle for a special event. But my favorite, oh, and then I did want to show you if it's an anniversary, just a little anniversary balloon or birthday balloon can make that message perfectly clear. But my favorite today is this little air plant, which I hope you can see. I'm going to turn this around and let this nestle right here in the kiwi vine. Just hold it right there. There we go. Okay. Look at that. Again, a beautiful gray-green like this wonderful variegated ivy. Soft color like our platinum crackle finish mercury glass cube, and soft like these pink roses. So here we are. We've beat the January doldrums. We've done something creative, and we've brought beautiful, beautiful flowers into our home. I invite you to join me again next time when we arrange flowers for Valentine's Day. In the meantime, this is Carolyn Ellis, and this is Design in Bloom, arranging seasonal flowers for your table and home. Thank you.